It is Royal Rumble season, my friends. Thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Simon Miller. This is What Culture Wrestling. Please hit subscribe. You know the deal. No matter how many years do go by, it's always going to be the same. So what should WWE do when they get to their second biggest event of the year? Although I think in 2025, more people on Netflix watched the Royal Rumble than they did WrestleMania. So I'm just saying, man, if you want to get into statistics, the Royal Rumble's number one. Now, a lot of this is going to be sorted out likely by the time you've seen this video, but what can I do? WWE's gone nuts in 2026, and they're doing a lot of title matches, but thankfully, we know that CM Punk versus Bron Breakker, well, you can argue that it's done on that first Raw in 2025. CM Punk did beat Bron Breakker, and I just said 2025. Of course, I meant 2026. Mark that one. I shall be doing that until at least February. But that begs the question, what should CM Punk do at the end of January and at the start of February, or whenever the hell the Royal Rumble is? And I have come up with what I could guess is called fantasy booking, which may annoy CM Punk. I saw him doing an interview recently. He's like, why do people keep doing this? I'm just trying to have fun. I'm trying to be a good guy about it. But given that LA Knight needs to come back to WWE, given that LA Knight does not like CM Punk in terms of what we've seen on screen, and given that LA Knight's probably not going to win the Royal Rumble, I wouldn't have him be a surprise. I would have him come back to TV in the next couple of weeks and walk up to CM Punk and say, hey man, we fell out a lot during last year and we still haven't had a one-on-one fight. Let's do it at the flipping Royal Rumble. Now, you could do the Bron Breakker rematch. I want to make this very clear, but if we do that, Bron Breakker is going to have to destroy CM Punk in around about 3 minutes, as you do a Brock Lesnar, John Cena situation from 2014, and I'm not against that at all. However, if you are now going to rebuild Bron Breakker and maybe do that at WrestleMania, which is another rumor, I would put LA Knight in there. Now listen, if you're an LA Knight fan, you're now saying, but Simon, he's never going to win that World Championship, and I agree with you, but given that maximum we're going to get 5 matches on that card, which will be the 2 Royal Rumbles, and I think 3 World Championships that we will get into, at least he is in a prominent position. And if you do come up with a way to protect LA Knight, and you do then put him in another angle that can push him throughout 2026, what difference does it make if he's in the Royal Rumble if once again he's not going to win the thing? And sure, somebody could throw him out that leads to a WrestleMania program, but from the end of the Royal Rumble to start WrestleMania, we have months, so you've got loads of time to do that. I just think at the start of the year, you want to let the fans know these are the people we're going to take care of over the next 12 months, and doing CM Punk and LA Knight does that and then some. And also, who doesn't want to see those promos? We kind of got a little bit of it a few months ago, especially before that Paris show, but that had Jey Uso and Seth Rollins in it. So just do CM Punk, take it on LA Knight one-on-one, let CM Punk go nuts on the microphone, then tell LA Knight, hey dude, you're allowed to do it back. I think it will create intrigue, and again, if you're super duper into LA Knight, you'll be able to suspend your disbelief and be like, man, he's going to do it, and maybe he could. Maybe you could come up with a totally random scenario where Bron Breakker and the Vision screw over CM Punk, he loses his title, and LA Knight is the champion. Now, the issue I have there is the other thing I think WWE should do would negate that, because they would be copy and pasting the same storyline, but it could happen. But yes, CM Punk would probably walk away with the title, but as long as you have a good idea for LA Knight, this is a good position to be in. Don't have to win to be over, man. You just got to be on the right path. Now, the other match all depends on what happens in his 3 stages of hell, which is going down in but a few days. I soon decided to record this, between Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Now, I can't believe I'm going to say these words, and this is more fantasy booking, right? So if someone from Reddit is watching this, you can yell at me and throw garbage at the screen, but I think Drew McIntyre could win. At the same time, he was super duper horrible about Cody Rhodes' dad, Dusty Rhodes, so I can't imagine a heel is then going to be granted with the victory as well, because the message you want to send out there is if you are a bully, you'll get your comeuppance. But given this is happening so close to the Royal Rumble, why can't Drew McIntyre have a 3-week title reign? Instantly people are mad, Simon, that would be absolutely crap. I tell you what's crapper though, Drew McIntyre losing again. This is the 3rd or 4th time he's fought Cody Rhodes, and forget all that as well, right? Bring in the Cody Rhodes stuff, bring in the CM Punk stuff. Anytime over the last couple of years Drew McIntyre's been in a big program, he never wins, and that's the issue. So if here, which has to be a blow-off match if he does lose, what does he do on SmackDown, right? He can't get any heat after this. He'll be like, ha ha, you absolutely suck, Drew McIntyre. Whereas beating Cody Rhodes in a 3 stages of hell match where he can be a super asshole because the rules will allow him to do it, and then doing Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes number, 747 at the Royal Rumble, and then allowing Cody Rhodes to win the belt back, no one is going to care massively, because what difference does it really make? And also, doing short title reigns means interest in the product will remain high, because a bunch of the audience will be like, I can't believe they did that. I better tune in, and it keeps you guessing. When was the last time WWE did did this with one of those world championships. I think it's been ages, and ever since Roman Reigns had that 1,316-day title reign, everybody seemed to think that's what you need to do. It's not true. The belt should serve the story, and the story should serve the belt. Cody Rhodes is so damn over, he could come out in a yellow suit and call himself Stardust, and he'd be totally fine. So let's say Drew McIntyre does win on that SmackDown. He holds it for, a month or whatever it is, 3 weeks. He goes there. Cody Rhodes then says, man, if I can't beat you, I'd retire, or something dumb, and we're not going to do that. Cody Rhodes then gets his belt back, and on that night too, we will have a Royal Rumble winner, and then Cody can get into that feud as well. And because our brains are totally screwed up in the Monday, we are going to forget within 48 hours. As of me sitting down here, John Cena retired 3 weeks ago, and nobody is talking about it, so sure, you'll go and whine and be like, I can't believe they did that the day after, but by Raw or by SmackDown this week, you won't care, and it'll be good for Drew McIntyre, because even though he would then have to separate from Cody Rhodes, at least he can be like, well, I was champion for a few weeks, and then he can go into a bigger program. It was essentially what I think we should do with LA Knight 2. Now, the third singles match I've got, I think is quite obvious. It was made obvious on Raw, I should say. Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel Rodriguez. Now, I don't know what to make of this Stephanie Vaquer injury. Again, I'd rather she was happy and healthy. Wrestling is the most important, the least important things. But everything I am reading online seems to suggest it's nothing too major, and she's just going to be off TV for a couple of weeks. Hence why we did the angle with Raquel, because now we can do Raquel versus Stephanie at the Royal Rumble. I would still get Liv Morgan in there super fast as you can, although I get you want to break up the Judgment Day first, or at least stick her Raw in. But Raquel Rodriguez has been great the last few months. And I don't actually mind if she would beat Stephanie Vaquer, especially because now I think about it, you have the excuse that Stephanie was injured. So maybe that is something you could do too, although at the same time, if you're going to crown Cody Rhodes as the champion, I can't really see WWE doing both. Then again, it is the Royal Rumble, right? It is the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, at least on paper. So why can't you change a couple of titles here? And Raquel Rodriguez is another one that doesn't need to be the champion for the next 10 years. And also, I've said this before, Stephanie Vaquer is going to become one of the biggest baby faces in WWE. You could argue she's already on her way to do that, but she doesn't need to hold on to this title. In fact, ever since she won that championship, it's not been that well booked. Like, she hasn't had any mega feuds, and she's kind of jumped around, and Nikki Bella comes kind of prods her with a stick. So if you can start the year off by really establishing Raquel Rodriguez as a massive bad guy, and that makes Liv Morgan go, well, I'm massively jealous of you now, that could actually be the catalyst as to why the Day of Judgment does fall in a hole. I don't think it's a problem at all, especially because, again, Stephanie Vaquer is going to walk into this thing hurt. So if Raquel's a horrible person and cheats and breaks that leg clean into, well, that justifies the win. This is not meant to be a predictions video, but now I think we should do that because I think it's going to give us a bunch of stuff to talk about after the fact, and that's what you want coming out of a major pay-per-view, or PLE, whatever the flub you want to call it. It doesn't always have to be moments, or oh my gosh, this surprise person came back. Sometimes you can just book a somewhat controversial finish that does make sense, and then let the zombies go crazy. I count myself among them, I'm the undead. So let's get into the Royal Rumbles themselves. I think Bianca Belair should return. That would be a surprise as well. And I think she should win the Women's Royal Rumble, mostly because then you set up the Jade Cargill feud. But at the same time, you can argue you don't need to do that because you're going to have the Elimination Chamber a month later. But either way, Bianca Belair should be in this, and one of our destinations for WrestleMania should be her versus Jade. We've essentially been teasing this ever since Jade Cargill did debut at a Home Royal Rumble a couple of years ago. Obviously, Naomi's been pushed to one side at the moment, which again is way more important than wrestling. She's having a child. But I think Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill, not only for the World Championship, but Bianca Belair beating Jade at that Mania to become the champion, is just awesome. So that's what we should do. But if you don't want to do that, and you want to have Bianca win it at the Elimination Chamber instead, well, we've just mentioned that, I'd give it to Liv Morgan. And that's another reason why, if you do have Raquel Rodriguez win that belt and Stephanie Vaquer goes away, that's when you can get the tension. Because Liv can be like, haha, I won the Royal Rumble, maybe I'm going to go after you. And Raquel can be like, you better not go after me, I'll smash you in the face. And maybe Liv can even turn up on SmackDown to pretend she's going after Jade when she turns on Raquel. And then you can just decide who the babyface and who the heel's going to be. And actually, I can't believe I'm saying this, given that WrestleMania is now a two-night affair, why can't we do Raquel Rodriguez versus Liv Morgan? Like, what reason is there not to do it? Stephanie Vaquer is super duper over, and she's going to be super duper over as long as we keep using her in good storylines. But if you want to add to the division, which we should always be aiming to do, why can't Raquel Rodriguez get a massive push for the end of January all the way through to April, which is also going to serve to turn Liv Morgan babyface, which clearly WWE has wanted to do for a while. You also then can break up the Judgment Day, which I've now said 3 times during this video. I just think it's a good idea, and Raquel was really good in the back end of 2025, and I think those people should be rewarded, because then Liv Morgan can be a top star, Stephanie McMahon can be a top star, Raquel Rodriguez can be a top star. That's good. I would also make sure that Sol Ruca has her proper debut in this Royal Rumble, and she should throw out Julia, and that should be our WrestleMania program, because that poor US Women's Championship is nothing at the moment. But if all of a sudden you can allow them to have more TV time, even more so, because SmackDown is now 3 hours, not only can we establish Sol Ruca to the main audience, but Julia finally can be given something, because let's face it, over the last few years she got scraps. I also came up with this bizarre idea that a couple of surprises could be Mickie James and Trish Stratus, only because I imagine they're good to go and I don't know otherwise, and not only could they have a spot in the Royal Rumble that goes, oh hi, we had that WrestleMania match years and years ago, but you could then pair them off with individual people or even have them enter a tag team match to do something at WrestleMania. And actually, if we don't do the Raquel Rodriguez thing, what would be awesome is Raquel and Roxanne versus Mickie James and Trish Stratus. This is total fantasy booking once again, but I had that thought and I was like, you know what, it would be most fun. That's the point of wrestling. I'd also put Blake Monroe in this Royal Rumble as well and get her up and running on the main roster, and Jordynne Grace should be the Iron Woman. I know we did that a couple of years ago when she still was with TNA, but we are now trying to re-establish her, and as per Ava, on that episode of NXT, she has been officially called up to the Royal Rumble, so now we gotta get nitty gritty with it. Minimum, she gotta be in there 42 minutes. As long as that's what she wants. Of course, you absolutely have to make sure that Tiffany Stratton returns during this Royal Rumble too, because she's been off TV for months now. Who she goes after, I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. Just put her in a prominent position. It's going to be fun. Everyone's going to pop. I also think that Brie Bella could be a surprise, which means Nikki Bella would probably be in this too. And maybe you could even do that. Trish Stratus, Mickie James versus the Bella twins. Don't do that. Make sure you have separate matches there, because you always want the old guard taking on the new guard. But if Brie is going to return, that deal is going to be made. Once again, do it in the Royal Rumble, because let's face it, my friends, you could never have enough surprises. I also think you'll have a big confrontation between Becky Lynch and AJ Lee as well, and AJ Lee will topple Becky Lynch out of there to start off their Intercontinental program, which will probably go right through all the way to WrestleMania, and we essentially set that up in 2025. And mostly they're the big things that I would do in the Women's Rumble, but ultimately, anybody that WWE considers a star should have their WrestleMania program, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, before the end of this thing. But I think it could be a great Royal Rumble. Maybe you're not going to get any mega surprises, aside from the people we've already gone over, but it just has so much talent now. Like again, Bianca could win, Liv Morgan could win, Rhea Ripley could win, Asuka could win. Who else have I got on my stupid list here? If Kairi Sane won, I'm not going to get mad about that. She's awesome. I doubt Charlotte Flair could win, but maybe she does something with Alexa Bliss to break up that team, and that would go to WrestleMania. Lyra Valkyria needs something, because that poor girl, she looked like an idiot the other day on Raw, and you know that Chelsea Green is going to do something amusing. I don't think it should be a short thing when she enters and all of a sudden goes out again, but it will be funny. I just thought too, we've already talked about Sol Ruca, but in terms of the Kofi Kingston spot, that should be hers. Got a feeling Natalya will probably come back in that Royal Rumble as well as this new character. We wait and see. When we move on to the men's, now I think who should win the Royal Rumble video majig will already be up by the time you see this, but I have gone for Roman Reigns. I think if Seth Rollins is not going to be ready for WrestleMania, you do the pivot to move into Roman versus Cody 3 for a couple of reasons. One, it's going to send everybody nuts because there's a constant argument online, who is the face of the company? But two, that is such a hard match to call. Roman has one win at WrestleMania 39, Cody has one win at WrestleMania 40, and this actually would have to come down to how WWE sees the company going forward. I have no problem with Roman Reigns / Joe Anoa'i taking all this time off. If anybody's earned it, it's that guy. But Cody Rhodes feels like he wants to do the full-time schedule for a good old while, so maybe Roman does leave to Cody, and then you get the big handshake in the middle of the ring, which essentially would be a passing of the torch. And actually 6 months after that, you probably should turn Cody heel to keep things interesting. But I think Roman Reigns can win, especially because Jey Uso did win last year, which was a surprise victor. So this year, if you want to go for the most super obvious one ever, of course you can. And from February all the way through to mid-April, people are going to be so pumped about Roman and Cody 3 because they're not going to know what WWE is going to do, and that is a good main event. And after what happened at WrestleMania 41, good grief, we need a good main event. If you don't want to do that though, I would still give it to Gunther. Now I actually think what WWE is going to do is have Brock Lesnar throw out Gunther or vice versa. They're going to do Gunther versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and Gunther is absolutely going to whoop this guy, probably after he whoops AJ Styles as well, in order to continue to build him after he retired John Cena. Now I'm a little bit worried we are copy and pasting Gunther a little bit too much, but again, it's still early days. But if Gunther goes on a run of retiring Goldberg, retiring John Cena, probably retiring AJ Styles, throwing Brock Lesnar out the Royal Rumble, and then beating him at WrestleMania. He does not need to win the Royal Rumble, right? If you did do that and you did make him a world champion, oh my God, he'd be the brand new final boss. But there are so many cool people that could be hanging out at the top of the card right now. You can give it to somebody else. But Gunther is my number 2 pick. I don't think it's going to happen. But if you have given him the retirement of John Cena, oh my gosh, you have to go full in here. Otherwise, you will make a big mistake. Femi, so absolutely debut properly on the main roster here as well. And given that he's not going to win, because I think we are going to give it to Roman Reigns, although I'd be totally fine if Oba did do it, he has to throw out at least 10 people, right? It has to be double figures. I do believe that Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman have the record about 14. If you want to give him 15, I ain't going to get mad at it. But it has to be 10 people, and it has to take another 10 people to throw him out of this, and he has to have a massive feud planned for WrestleMania. And he should win there, and he should win at SummerSlam, he should become Mr. Money in the Bank, then he should become the champion, and nobody should ever take that belt off him. It should be like NXT, where he just leaves championships on the floor when he is ready to take on something else. But this, aside from the winner, has to be Oba Femi's coming out party, otherwise we've all let him down. I also think you'll get a couple of returns in Chad Gable and Jericho too, which makes all the sense in the world because they have been out for a while. I don't think they'll interact to set up a feud for WrestleMania, but Chad Gable should have a banner year, as should Jericho too. So just make sure we set that up here as well. They're two fantastic talents, and while it sucked they had to go away due to health-related reasons, absence does make the heart grow fonder, so you can sell this massively. Nike, man, just do it. And the biggest return, maybe even at number 1, should be Chris Jericho. And I think a really cool thing we can do here, and I've stolen this from someone on the internet, I can't remember your name, I'm so sorry, but Chris Jericho should be number 1, right? And usually, obviously, you have to wait till you get to number 3 for the 10 countdown, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bah. But with this one, everyone's waiting to see who is number 1. You get a countdown. It's the Millennium Countdown with the whop, whop. Everybody will pop once. Everybody will pop twice for Chris Jericho, but just do it however you want. I mean, he could absolutely come back on Raw before all this. I would just wait and tease over the next month or so, but Chris Jericho is absolutely going to be in the Royal Rumble. Maybe he's a surprise, maybe he already is back by then, but I'm laying my reputation down, which is fine by me because I have none, I'm an idiot. I also think the Bad Bunny is going to be in this Royal Rumble because WWE's already announced they are having a pay-per-view in Puerto Rico in a couple of months, so he has to have a match here. They'd be so disappointed. And in terms of the Iron Man, I think you got to give it to Sami Zayn. He even said on SmackDown, I got to win that world title. So let him be in the ring for 45 minutes, and then of course, who should throw him out? Trick Williams, because he was the guy on SmackDown that said, actually no, I want to be the world champion. And then you can do the match at WrestleMania or on SmackDown or the Elimination Chamber. You get to choose. I just really like that. I think it'd be super interesting because neither of those guys should be losing, so what the flub do you do? I also would imagine that you are going to do something with the Usos as well. If we are actually do a proper tag team run, I think Austin Theory and Logan Paul will throw them out. Very worryingly, that could be the WrestleMania match, with Logan Paul and Austin Theory probably becoming the tag team champions, or maybe there is some miscommunication and Jimmy knocks out Jay or vice versa. Because I still got this bee in my bonnet that I think Jey Uso isn't actually into this tag team stuff, and he is about to go heel, but either way, I've thrown it out there now, I'm putting it in the booking, because you know the deal. It doesn't actually matter if you win or lose the Rumble, I've said this already, you just have to have a good story within it that sets up something else. With that in mind as well, of course, you'll get a Joe Hendry Miz thing, probably with the Miz accidentally saying Joe Hendry's name, when he does come out like, haha, and I do think they're going to have a WrestleMania match too, and I've got no problem with it. Joe Hendry had a terrific 2025. You cannot tell me you don't think the Miz has had a Hall of Fame career and one of the best careers of all time. Let him be the gatekeeper for Joe going from NXT to the main roster. It'll be totally fine, and you know what? It'll be fun. And of course, Siobhan Evans will be in this too. Now he's officially signed at Raw, and I do have some other names, but they're obvious ones like Gunther, AJ Styles, Rusev, Penta, El Grande Americano, and I have Damian Priest and Aleister Black, Matt Cardona, Finn Balor, Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker, all of these guys, and maybe Bron Breakker and CM Punk get into it there as well, though that makes no sense because CM Punk wouldn't be in the Rumble. But I actually think it's quite simple this year from WWE. If you get these two Royal Rumble winners right, and that makes the fans happy in their tum-tum, or at least they do understand, and you have Cody Rhodes winning that championship back from Drew McIntyre, everyone's going to be happy. And even if Drew McIntyre does lose on that SmackDown, Randy Orton is waiting right there. You can even argue that Randy Orton could win this Royal Rumble, and that's how he goes after Cody Rhodes. As long as Randy goes heel soon after this, because you absolutely want that parity in that feud, I ain't gonna moan. I think that would be awesome. And Randy Orton hasn't been on TV for around about 42 months. We've got to give him something. Now listen, there's gonna be a bunch of other stories I haven't even touched upon here, but that's because I want you to talk about them in the comments before you do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. But try and come up with ideas that are bedded in reality reality. Don't say alien's going to come down and evaporate people. It could happen. It's 2026 and the world is totally broken. But there are a bunch of names that, of course, are going to need feuds going into WrestleMania, such as Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes. I mean, if Carmelo Hayes is going to defend that US title, you should probably do something here too. But I allow you to go nuts in the comments. Otherwise, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which of course is me predicting my Royal Rumble winners. Kind of spoiled it here, but I give you a much more in-depth reason why it should be Roman or Bianca Belair. But I appreciate you, my friends. Enjoy this time of the year because it is the best time for WWE, and you are going to see my stupid face throughout it.